Hey there, welcome to the garden. We have a little break in the rain, and so I'm out here. I'm going to try to move a couple things around and take you with me. I am starting the process of doing a little bit of moving of some of the perennials and some of the other plants in this section of the garden bed. It's beautiful in a lot of ways. We've got a lot of really good things going on, but there's a few areas of chaos that I just want to kind of smooth out. I love the really abundant look, but sometimes it gets a little too wild. So I just decided I'm going to come in and change some things up and have some fun. I definitely like to change my garden around throughout the season. I do this every year. So I'm not even going to pretend that like this isn't just sort of how I garden. It's so much fun. I am also going to take out the foxglove. So I was thinking about maybe keeping it to save some seeds, but there's so many other different kinds of really incredible foxgloves. I'd like to try lots of different ones, and so since it's a biennial, it's not going to flower again. I'm going to pull out at least this front one and then make a little space in here and probably move some of the plants from this area over. So this section of the garden is looking really kind of, yeah, I mean, it's partially looking bad like this because we've had so much rain, everything's flopped over, but it's also just, it never quite grows the way I want, and it ends up getting just kind of funny. And I think what I'm going to do is just take out all the perennials and different plants that I've gotten there, move them to different spaces, put down some mulch, and then put just a couple like containers, big containers along the back wall so that it's a little bit more controlled. And then I'll have more room to get around this end of this raised bed, because what happens is I just don't get into this raised bed, and that's a problem. And I'm also going to figure out a trellising system for all these cucumbers that are spilling over. I've got a couple little arches that I can put up. So I just need to get in here and get some work done. I'll probably leave, there's a few black-eyed Susans on either side. For now, I think I will leave those in ground and then just move the other stuff and fill in. There's a little gap in this garden bed where I have room to put in some of the plants that I'm going to move, and I think that'll work. It's going to be a little bit buggy getting in here, but hopefully, I don't know, it's middle of the day right now, so maybe it won't be quite as bad. It's just a tricky part of the process, but I think it's going to look so much better. I do need to also go over and get some more mulch, probably from I usually just get like cedar mulch from box store, and that's what works, probably just one bag to fill that in. I did notice some beautiful new blooms over on the echinaceas in this, I'm calling this my cottage garden bed because it had the foxglove, and it's kind of just a whimsical cottagey bed. We've got the beautiful Indian summer rudbeckia, some green twister, echinacea, and then this really pretty sort of peachy creamy color, beautiful echinaceas in here. And then this is actually the black bachelor buttons, which has been super fun. I've got to maybe do a little bit of sort of deadheading and trimming, but that's really pretty. There's kind of a hole right in the middle here, and I think that's where I'm going to move my hollyhocks. I have a hollyhock, which is supposed to bloom, that's over there. I'm going to move that here. I also have that really pretty cleome that you can't see, so I'm going to have to figure out if I want to put that in a container or what I want to do. Then there's just a couple cosmos and some basil in there, so nothing really too crazy that I want to save. There's one echinacea that I'm going to move, but yeah, I tried to plant in a bunch of milkweed in that corner, and I think some of it is coming up. If you were here over the winter, you know that I started a bunch of milkweed from seed, and it did pretty well. I really enjoyed that process, and so I will either move that milkweed over to the other side, so I could pop a couple milkweed back in here or over here in this corner. I also need to take care of the nasturtium bed because that has like completely flopped over. There's some changes that need to happen in the garden. It's also hard on a rainy day like this because I feel like the garden looks extra chaotic. We've had rain for like 3 days, so everything's starting to get weighed down. All of the blossoms are looking bad. We've got petals falling off. We've got petunias flopping over. So it's a little hard to get a perfect feel for what the garden looks like. But I'm gonna go ahead and at least get a start and just try to keep on top of keeping this looking a bit more organized. As I said, I love the chaotic look, but there's just like this fine line where it still looks good and you can see what's going on, but there's sort of like whimsy and chaos, and then there's just everything going together, like what's happening in that back corner where you can't even see what's going on. It's no longer pretty. So we're trying to solve that. I'm also standing right in front of me is this beautiful Heliopsis. It has been dry. It's in a container. It's a huge plant. This is the Summer Nights Heliopsis. It's gorgeous. It is huge. It is beautiful. I actually really love it in the container, but it's drying out so much that I think if I do my 3 containers in this back corner, I may pop this Heliopsis just in that back corner, and I think it'll be beautiful and big and bright and yeah, look really good. So we're gonna have a lot of really pretty yellow flowers in that corner. If I add anything more to the garden this year, I'm gonna have to get some kind of blue tones. I have so much pink, I just need a little bit more blue. But anyways, we're not plant shopping right now. Right now, I need to get in here and start moving plants. It's not really my favorite thing to do because I know I'm gonna get covered in bugs, and that's why I'm kind of procrastinating. But I'm gonna start by pulling out the foxglove and making a little room for other things. So let's do that. Just gonna try to shake as much of the dirt off of this root system as I can. Get this whole big plant out of here. I am trying to keep my raised beds really usable. One of my rules for the year is to not let the raised beds get so crazy that I can't still really use them. And then we got this big foxglove here, which I don't know if it's gonna bloom this year or not. Foxgloves are biennials, and so it may be waiting, it may not bloom this year, but it's a really pretty plant. I mean, the foliage is really gorgeous. So we'll just take out, all these roots are from the rat's tail radishes, which if you've been around here, you know that was a really pretty, again, another whimsical plant. And let's see, I'm just trying to figure out space-wise. I've got this Cleome and this hollyhock that are going to be really pretty and cottagey. They're the perfect kind of look for a cottage bed. So I think I'm going to have room in here for them. What do we got going on? We've got all the echinacea over here. I'm going to let the bachelor buttons continue to grow because they're really beautiful. Maybe we'll just put the hollyhock and the Cleome right next to each other, and they can use this to help them grow. I had thought that I was going to put some cucumbers on this trellis, but they haven't really gotten enough sun, and so I'm not even worrying about them. All right, let me go get the hollyhock. So here is how it's looking so far. I got the hollyhock in there right under the trellis, and then I put the Cleome. You can see that white flower next to the foxglove there. And then I actually stuck a couple milkweed in front, and actually put in a tomato too to climb up the trellis. We'll see. This may get way too full, but I think it'll add to kind of the whimsy. I left the bachelor buttons, even though they look a little flopped over right now. I'm hoping that after the rain stops, they will not be flopping down so much. I think they may just kind of be flopping over because it's raining. So I just want to leave that. And they are really pretty. I really like these. So as long as the bachelor buttons kind of picks back up and starts to look, you know, nice. I think it still looks pretty, even sort of flopped over. I'm going to leave that because I think it does add to the whimsy. And overall, I still like the look of this bed. And as the tomato fills in, the hollyhock grows up, this Cleome is going to grow up. And I think the Cleome is going to be vigorous enough to kind of be able to deal with the foxglove. But I may have to just kind of like come in and trim the foxglove a little bit. And then I popped in the back there. You can see that tall this guy. That's actually an aster, a really cool plant. I actually got it from Garden for Wildlife. So I actually got that aster from a really cool company called Garden for Wildlife, and they do collections of native flowers, really beautiful, beautiful flowers. The flowers come online. The ones that I got were so healthy and incredible. So yeah, they partnered with me to do a giveaway over on Instagram. So if you hop over to Instagram, I'll leave my link in the description of this video. You can enter to win just a collection of native plants. There's nothing you have to do. You don't have to do anything to enter it. Just leave a comment on my Instagram post, and yeah, you don't even have to follow me or anything, although I would love it if you do, and stay tuned with everything. But yeah, just a little way to say thank you to everyone for watching. But anyways, that aster has fought through thick and thin over in this wild corner. I mean, it has just been such a hardy plant and has done so beautifully. So really, really happy with that. So this is all I'm going to do today. I'm just going to leave this garden bed. I like where it's at. And then I will tackle the corner and mulching and all of that probably tomorrow. And then I will tackle this other bed after that. I just want to encourage you, if you want to make some changes in your garden, even mid-season, just go ahead and do it. I mean, the garden is so there for your enjoyment. And every time I make big changes like this, even though it's a little bit of work, it's so nice, and I end up really loving the changes, and I'm enjoying my garden even more. I will say that when you are doing transplanting mid-season, if you can pick a week like I have right now, like we have about a week of rain. So we're gonna have, it's been raining for a couple days, and we have just more rain on the forecast. It's a little bit cooler than it normally is, cloudy. It's a nice time to do this kind of transplanting, because especially transplanting big perennials and stuff, it can be hard, especially in the middle of summer with the heat. They can shock, and you can end up losing the plants. It can be hard on them. But if you have, like a rainy week or some some cool temperatures, then you can kind of get away with moving the plants around. And of course, you want to stay on top of making sure that they're getting enough water and they're not drying out. Yeah, we've been having such a strangely cool June. It's been so much cooler than normal. We weren't having much rain, and now we have like a week of rain. So I'm kind of like seizing the moment in case we get another dry spell, and just moving everything that I want to move now, and getting all that transplanting done. There's actually so much water in that corner down there. This corner, all the water drains down there. It was super wet when I was moving the plants out. So I think even some of them might be a little happier up here where it's just a little bit drier. But other than that, I'm just gonna sit out here and kind of dream about the changes I want to make. I like to kind of sleep on my changes and think about them. Times I regret moving plants is when I don't kind of think through the whole plan. But I think this bed looks great. I'm so happy with it. All right, gonna feed the fish, hang out with little girl here, and yeah, just make sure I don't need to water, I don't think, because it's starting to get cloudy again, and I think we're gonna get some more rain. So I'm not even going to have to water those plants in. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.